Hey everybody, our first Mercury Retrograde of 2026 arrives on February 2026 in the sign of Pisces. Now, this Mercury Retrograde has the potential to be slightly problematic because Mercury is not at its best in Pisces, and a retrograde, of course, brings all the retrograde shenanigans that we know and love. Sarcasm. Okay, so I thought, we need some extra intel on what this Mercury retrograde in Pisces might bring for you. We got a tarot deck, we got a cat, we got a cup of coffee. Let's rock and roll into a reading for you. So welcome to the channel, or welcome back. My name is Stella Wilde, your host of Coffee and Cosmos, your no bullshit, anti-doom astrologer and tarot reader. Now, I have already made an epic 30-day horoscope for each sign. I will leave a link to it in the description of this video, where I go over the new moon solar eclipse in Aquarius, the Virgo lunar eclipse, March 3rd, and also touch on Mercury retrograde and how it's tied in with the eclipse energy. But like I said, I was thinking about it and I'm like, I think they need more info. And that video that I mentioned is strictly astrology. It's always helpful to pull a few tarot, not because it predicts anything, but because it just gives us a little extra edge of energy to use as we see fit, because that's what it is all about, using the energies how you choose. So Mercury, when it is in Pisces, is debilitated, meaning it's not at its optimal energy. So that can be problematic in and of itself, but when we have a retrograde, it makes it even a little bit more dicey. Planets, placements have higher vibrations and lower vibrations. The higher vibration of Mercury in Pisces is imagination and inspiration, creative thinking, absolutely. At its lower vibration, it can be about escapism and telling a lot of lies and fibs, or Fibonaccis, as I like to call them. So the Mercury retrograde in Pisces could possibly be bringing secrets and lies to your attention, especially from the past, the retrograde energy. It is a time to absolutely pay attention to, are you lying to yourself? Where is the truth? Or it could be something where you're going over old ground to reimagine a solution. Remember, higher and lower vibrations. It's just going to depend on your personal situation, how you choose to use the energy, what's coming up in your life, etc. Again, check out that other video I mentioned. All right, Aries, let's see what you need to know about this Mercury retrograde in Pisces. Let us see, just quick few tarot cards just to get a vibe of what to be aware of. Aries, we have a Two of Cups. And we have a Temperance, and a Devil. Wow. Okay. All right. So there could be a contact from your past, whether business, personal. It could be a Sag. It's possible with the Temperance showing up here. But this is somebody who it seems like there's good feelings. But look at this Devil card that has shown up. Like, is this all just a big facade? Is it a lie? I think you're going to get at the truth about an association. It might even have to do with a workplace, because this is your 10th house of career. It's possible. But I feel like you're on the fence. I feel your emotions are perhaps changing about this. Like, maybe you did at first think that this person was on the level with you. But now this retrograde may bring out something slightly nefarious in their behavior and their speech toward you, just the vibe you're picking up with this Devil energy. And you're realizing perhaps that all is not what it seems. So my advice here for you is to, use this Mercury retrograde to go very slowly with some person who's been trying to make an inroad in your life in some way, for whatever reason, because they're fronting, they're putting on a show, and I think it's manipulative, honestly, because of this. And this temperance is interesting. They think that they can throw you off balance in some manipulative way. It could be through flattery. I mean, it's possible here, this Two of Cups. It could be they're trying to mirror you. I am just going to say this. I think you need to be very careful of any narcissists that are surfacing or suspected narcissists. That again, it's possible here, depending on what you have going on in your life, that there is quote unquote love bombing, where again, they're mirroring everything you're doing and you think, oh, this person really gets me. But it's all a manipulative tactic. And again, this can be in a work situation, does not have to be romantic. So I would just be very careful. Also with this temperance in the middle here, it can be that, yes, you might have indeed a very strong change of heart with this situation by the time we get out of the retrograde on March 20th. So just keep that in mind, but don't get yourself too embroiled in something here that I think might be misrepresenting itself. All right, Taurus, let's get a message for you. Something to be aware of, to keep on your radar during this Mercury retrograde. Let us see. Taurus, what do we have for you? Oh, well, there you are, King of Pentacles. And we have Judgment. And we have the Ten of Wands. Okay, so there may be something going on here where you think you've made a decision to complete a cycle of work of some kind or a burden. You may think everything is finished and complete. There might be something that rises up with this Judgment card that you will need to address during the Mercury retrograde. So there's one last loose end, I think, to tie up for you. You may also be rethinking a decision you are making about something that you want to wrap up so that you can move on and do something else. This may be work related because of this Ten of Wands that's showing up here. You might also be in the middle of rethinking a decision about moving on. It's about completing an energetic cycle. But as I said, there is this last bit of something that has to be figured out. And the thing here is, okay, I always say this about the Ten of Wands. This guy has his face buried in these wands. He cannot see in front of him. So you may be, in fact, very preoccupied and not able to focus on anything else except this last loose end in some way. There could be an important message that's coming to you from the past. It might be from 2 months ago. It could be from 20 weeks ago. It could even be from 2 years ago. That's possible. And that message comes in first because that Judgment card is before the Ten of Wands. So there is a piece of information very possibly coming back to you from your past that, again, is associated with this loose end, this rethinking of a situation so that you can wrap it up. But this is all about you because the King of Pentacles is showing up here. It could be business related, money related, home related, all of these types of things. But it's like the ball's in your court. It's like nobody else can decide this. Nobody else can fix this. It's you. And I would say because of this Ten of Wands, yes, it's something you're going to have to be really focused on, but also use the energy of maybe trying to get some other perspectives to help you decide with what you're going to do with this. That might be helpful. Again, the retrograde, rethinking something. So before you get totally focused back in on it to work on it and tie it up, that loose end, maybe think of different alternatives of how you might do that. All right, Gemini, let's see what you might need to know about this Mercury retrograde to help you out. Let us see. Let's get a message for the Geminis. What do we have here? We have a King of Wands. We have an Eight of Coins. And we have a Seven of Coins. Okay. There is likely to be something, I think, related to your past, your recent past. I think this goes back to Sagittarius season with this King of Wands showing up. He is looking to the right, which for me is the past, the way I read tarot here on YouTube. So there is something coming back from the past. It could be business related. It could be energy related, like how you've been using your energy. It could be related to possibly a connection, a boss. I'm feeling this is probably work related for y'all because of the pentacles that are out here and this King of Wands. Or if you are, running your own business, or if you're a supervisor or something like that. Okay. But, apply the energies to your life accordingly. So there's something that you are in charge of. It's the King of Wands, and it's coming back around so you can focus in on it. There's something to fine tune. We got the Virgo here with this 8 of coins. So this is going to help you. All right. Using this energy, because also with this 7 of coins that is showing up here, I think that you will like the result, because you are going back to refocus, retune, refine, all the rewords for Mercury retrograde. Maybe for some of you, it's going back to work. Maybe you had to take time off for whatever reason. But I'm getting this sense of like a kind of a renewal, refreshment. You're able to focus now. You are able to use your skills in an appropriate way toward, I think, finishing up with this 7 of coins, maybe a mountain of work that got, that was, what's the word I want? That, again, if you were maybe out on sick leave or something, and all of a sudden, like, the work was piling up while you were away, it's like you're going to be able to make a lot of inroads on things from your past and Sagittarius season since December that got piled up. That is what I am feeling. Now, this could be stuff around your home too. I mean, it doesn't have to be work in the sense of a job. So, keep that in mind. As I like to say, apply the energies to your life. But the 7 of coins, I feel like by the retrograde end on March 20th, you could be very pleased with the fact that you've completed most, maybe not all, but most of what was on your plate. But I would say here, there is something of intense focus and focus on details, which is not Mercury retrograde in Pisces strong suit. Okay, so keep that in mind. Like, really check the details, because the Virgo energy is showing up here. And Virgo is, ruled by Mercury. So that's why I'm saying this with this 8 of coins. Don't rush through these things you're trying to get done, even though, yes, maybe there was a pile up of things that you need to do for whatever reason. Rushing is not going to help you. Focus will. And by the end of the retrograde, you can get most of what you want to get done. All right, Cancer, let's see what you need to know about navigating this Mercury retrograde in Pisces energy. Cancers, let us see. We have an 8 of swords. We have the moon. And we have the Hierophant. Okay. So probably the lunar eclipse in Virgo, because here's the moon, your, ruling energy here, is going to, kind of force, I think, some sort of decision for you. There could be information coming in. Right now, you might be a little in the dark about exactly what you want to do, if you want to say yes to something or not with this Hierophant, if you want to continue with a commitment or not, if you want to proceed with learning more about XYZ, signing up for something official, that is all of that, or not, right? It's the decision point. This 8 of swords, this is something I think that has been on your mind for a while. And for whatever reason, you are finding it very challenging to make up your mind. Now, it could be because the information is still shadowy, the moon. It could be that you're still fearful for whatever reason. It's the moon showing up here of making a decision. That you still have doubts if this commitment might be solid or not. Maybe you feel you're solid, but you feel the other person isn't, or the other entity or situation is not solid in some way. So this doesn't tell you what to do. This says this is coming with this Mercury retrograde, is finally getting off the fence and making that decision one way or the other. And with the lunar eclipse in Virgo, which interestingly enough is your third house of the mind, making decisions. Definitely check out that other video I mentioned. Information could come out that kind of clarifies whether you're saying yes or no to this Hierophant energy that's coming up in this particular reading. So take your time. The jury is still out until you get that piece of information, until, and until I would even say until Mercury does go direct. It may take you the full 3 weeks. That's what I'm saying. Don't rush yourself to feel fully like the fog has cleared. You feel confident in the decision and in the commitment, yes or no, that you are making. So that is what I would say to this, and honor whatever you're feeling with this, whatever you're thinking with this. Because there's a reason that you have hesitated up to this point to say yes. Let the information come out. Let your mind settle before, and let the Mercury retrograde end before you make a decision, is my advice. But your situation may require a decision that comes quicker. Apply the energies to your life. All right, Leos, let's see what you need to know about this Mercury retrograde. Information that could help you during this time. Let us see. Leos. We have a 6 of Swords. We have a Queen of Cups. And we have a 9 of Swords. Okay. So the vibe I am getting is that, the first phrase that popped into my brain when the 9 of Swords came out was, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. That's kind of the vibe I am getting. It could be that you are really, again, another cliche, but between a rock and a hard place, that you are going to have to make some sort of decision during this Mercury retrograde that could be quite emotional. That could involve, yes, some sort of letting go, some sort of worry or anxiety, but you also want to make the decision so you can move away from worry or anxiety. The vibe I'm getting is you may want to make a decision that solves a problem and perhaps is free of consequences, but consequences are going to come for somebody. It's like you could be doing what's best for you, but then emotionally disappointing somebody close to you and causing them worry and distress. This 9 of Swords may not be you, right? Sometimes you need to move on. You need to make decisions that are in your own best interests. You don't want to cause hurt or harm to someone else intentionally, of course not. But sometimes decisions, life situations put us in that difficult place. So, and this could be involving a female energy, a feminine energy with this Queen of Cups here. Also, this Queen of Cups, it could be that intuitively you have known that this decision has been coming down the line for a while. And maybe it is something that's been kind of keeping you up at night, that you do finally have to make that decision and resolve it within yourself, and also resolve to move on and not get called back or pulled back into an emotional tide that is not helpful for you. So that's kind of the vibe I am getting here. But again, it's the retrograde. So I think what this could mean for you is to make emotional peace with the fact that there is a moving on decision you are likely wrestling with during this retrograde. As you come out the other side of the retrograde at the start of Aries season on March 20th, just have that resolve in place to do what you need to do for yourself in, however this applies to your life is what I would say. But don't think it's going to be totally pain-free. We read what comes up here. Like, I try to be realistic. We don't, do doom and gloom here, but we also are trying not to go too much into fairy stories either. And we can't ignore the fact that a 9 of Swords is here. So this 9 of Swords can be intentional cruelty. So who's going to get harmed? Are you going to harm yourself by not making a decision and letting yourself be emotionally held hostage, so to speak, by what somebody else needs? Or are you going to do what you need to do and then just feel bad that you had to hurt somebody because you had to move on and make a decision for yourself? Like I said, we are sometimes put into these situations. It happens. So use the energies as you see fit, but that's what I'm kind of feeling here. And I'm also getting a vibe that there's something to look at when it comes to emotional nostalgia. There may be a little of that going on during the retrograde. It doesn't mean we live in that, though. It doesn't mean that that affects our future to the point where we don't move on and we stay stuck in the past to a memory or a nostalgia, but it's not growing, or the relationship isn't moving us forward, or the situation isn't moving us forward. So that's another thing to kind of keep in the back of your mind. All right, Virgos, let's see what you need to know about this Mercury retrograde, your ruling planet retrograde. All right, Virgos, let us see. Virgos. Oh, we have a 6 of Wands. Oops. Oh, and we have an Ace of Coins. All right. And we have the Sun. Okay. So this Mercury retrograde could see you returning, all those rewords, to an idea, a seed, an opportunity, something creative, something that brings you joy, and reconnecting with it in some way that you could profit and prosper from it once we got everything moving direct again, and also once we clear your lunar eclipse. So, on March 3rd. So these are the best 3 cards I've pulled so far today for the signs. This is excellent. But there is something that you might have had a recent success. This could go back to Sagittarius season. And there's something you're feeling excited and proud about. Maybe it got delayed by the holidays or the cold weather in January. Sorry, people down under. Or, something you got distracted. Some other thing was going on, maybe in January and the first half of February. And now with the retrograde, you're able to devote your attention because this is your energy. Here it is, right? The Ace of Coins. You're able to focus and return to this idea, this seed, an important goal that's indicative of your energy. So it's very personal to you, in other words. Yes, it might involve money. Yes, it might involve jobs. It could involve something creative, though, that you just enjoy doing. It's whatever lights you up inside, this sun. And you are able to pour the light of your attention on this particular energy. So I feel like you could be fertilizing, re-energizing, reanimating something that got put on hold. It is something that really excites you, the 6 of Wands. And I think you have had some sort of little success with it in the past in some way. And you want more of it. And you want that success, that feeling, that energy to grow. And here you go. Here you freaking go. So that's what I would be focusing in on during this retrograde of your ruling planet. All right, Libras, let's see what you need to know about this Mercury retrograde energy that might help you make the most of this transit, which, yes, is a little tricky. Let us see. Libras, what do you need to know? Oh, we have the World. And wow, and the Wheel of Fortune. Oh, and a 7 of Wands. Okay. There's some situation in your life that could change on a dime during this retrograde. It could come to an end very quickly. And that doesn't mean in a negative way. It could mean that a negative situation comes to an end very quickly for you. Because look, these are, so sorry, cat hair. These are very positive energies here, this World and this Wheel. But then we have a 7 of Wands. So it's a little like, oh my God, how do I navigate this? How do I use my energy in this situation? I got to keep my balance. I got to steady myself. I can't let myself get thrown off balance. You're Libra, right? Libra, harmony, balance. Your balance and harmony might be tested, but I don't think it's negative with these energies. It could be something positive, but because you're not used to it, it throws you out of whack. So I think this Mercury retrograde, you could be navigating some sort of situation where you're figuring out, how do I make a change in my life that is just coming on in very quickly and catapulting me, moving me fast towards something else. And I think it's interesting too. Check out that other video I talked about early in this video today, that lunar eclipse in Virgo on March 3rd is in your 12th house of karmic endings. And we're getting the World card as our first energy in this reading. So indeed, you could be ending some sort of long-standing karmic situation. And once that is done during this retrograde, you may find, so March 13th, the middle of March, we're still in retrograde until March 20th. There could be something that's kicking off for you where you maybe thought it would never come to pass, it would never move forward, and then it does. So I would say here, do the best you can to maintain your equilibrium and balance, but know that the energy may pick up the pace despite the fact we're in a Mercury retrograde. Try to perhaps, again, depending on your personal situation, take your time in making a decision. But it seems like this energy cycle is going to start movement in your life after a period where maybe there was something that nothing was moving forward. And it's going to create whole new circumstances in your life, because this energy, paradoxically, the world is also a birth card. So this is the birth of movement, perhaps a little unexpected. Jupiter goes direct, I think, on the 10th, I want to say, or Jupiter energy here, Jupiter in Cancer. It might be the 8th. Don't quote me on that. I don't have the exact date in my brain at the moment, but right around that time frame. So it could be connected with that energy. This could be a very lucky break. So let's see how it might play out for you. But this is the key. The 7 of Wands is the key of dealing with this energy. And as always, if you can wait to make a decision until after Mercury goes direct, it's usually better. But sometimes, like I said, you got to do what you got to do when you got to do it. All right, Scorpios, let's see what you need to know about this Mercury retrograde for the Scorpios. Let us see. Scorpio. Ooh, we have the Star. Oh, and the Magician. Oh, my goodness. Okay. And the Knight of Wands. Wow. Okay. Wow, this energy of the Mercury retrograde, it is in your 5th house. I have not been breaking these out by houses, but it is in a creative house for you. And we have that energy showing up here with the Magician. This Mercury retrograde, I think, is going to help you reconnect with some healing energy, or the way you heal yourself through your own power and creativity, agency, intuition, and kind of following your bliss and following what you know to be true for you. And there's something here, this Knight of Wands, I feel you're getting passionately re-inspired in some way with this energy, with your power, with the things that I just talked about. You could be returning to a person, place, situation that is inspiring for you. Now, we don't mean returning to an old lover. That we're not talking about that, okay? We're talking about your energy. The Magician is showing up here. So returning to reconnecting with things that are healing and inspiring to you in some way. And that it jumpstarts, Knight of Wands, some sort of passionate reconnection. That's the thing that I am feeling with your heart space. What makes you feel alive? What makes you feel joyous, whole, and healed? So this is very powerful. And Mercury retrograde, your 5th house of creativity. So if there is a project that's just been kind of sitting in the shadows because you haven't had the time, money, or energy to work on it, this may be the time that you get passionately reconnected with it. Maybe you go back to a hobby. You could also possibly, with the star here and this Knight of Wands, maybe you're returning to a routine that strengthens your physical body and that makes you feel powerful, but also, Magician here, makes you feel creative in some way. Okay, I mean, it could be dance. It could be some other form of artistry that's physical, in other words. It's possible, okay? But I mean, it could just be physical exercise that makes you feel like you are magic, because you are magic. Or but that gives maybe a magical healing feeling to your life. So this is great. This is great energy here, I would say, to pay attention to. And the star card is also very interesting here because I feel like you have a destiny with this situation that got put on hold in some way. So I don't think this is going to be just a flash in the pan for this retrograde. I think whatever you are reconnecting with at this particular time is going to stand the test of time and perhaps start, Magician for me is a year in timing, start a whole new year cycle in your life that gives you a lot of satisfaction. You could look back on this time a year from now and be like, you know what? That's when it all changed for me. That's when it all started. I got my groove back. I reconnected with this passion of mine. And wow, look what I have created since then. All right, Sagittarius, let's see what you need to know about this Mercury retrograde. For your highest good, Sagittarius, let us see. We have a Knight of Coins. We have a High Priestess. And we have a Queen of Swords. All right, so you are holding in your hand something that you need to make a decision about. So it is time to use the Mercury retrograde to do that. Now, this could be related to your home life, home financing, real estate matters, a general money situation, opportunity with the Knight of Pentacles. But it's there. You are contemplating it. The High Priestess is here. You are doing this in private. This suggests to me this is very much your own personal decision. It could be something you're going to promise yourself. It could be something you're going to resolve to do. And you're just trying to figure out how you want to handle it. You could be studying something in private in order to solve whatever this, I don't feel it's a problem, but it's something that you may need to take time out to get more information. And also, before you make a decision, the Queen of Swords is here. You will be making a decision, I think, by the end of this retrograde. That's indicated by the Queen of Swords. But you guys, I think you're running it through some sort of internal processing, not just intuitively with the High Priestess here, but also informationally. Like, you do need some other information. You know, let's not forget, High Priestess, she's got a book in her lap. Okay, she's a smart lady. So, you know, again, this is the type of thing like digging around in sources that maybe aren't totally obvious. This is very Mercury retrograde in Pisces. Digging around in sources that are not immediately obvious that could potentially be the little piece of information that helps you make your decision on what you want to do with this Knight of Coins scenario that's going on in your life. So I would say, yes, it is both intuitive and informational. And then the Queen of Swords is here, and she is making a decision that is very objective. She is looking at facts and figures, but she is also consulting with her intuition. The High Priestess is here. So it's not either or. It is both things to help you make this decision. This is not just a good vibes only like scenario. No, we are running it through both lenses, as I said before. So, you know, let's see, you know, let me know in the comments what you think this applies to in your life. But it also speaks to your own counsel, secrecy, not sharing this with other people. Like, you need to be the one to make the decision about this, not your, you know, committee of the peanut gallery. Okay, no, you. All right, Capricorns, let's see what you need to know about the Mercury retrograde. If you hear noises, Bobby is playing with his cat toy. Okay, let us see. Capricorn, what you need to know. Mercury retrograde. We have a Nine of Wands. We have a Hermit. Capricorn. Oh, well, come on, Capricorn, 8 of coins. All right. Is this not a Capricorn reading? It's all about work. Okay, this is what I'm going to say. We got double Virgo. Well, actually, we have triple Virgo if I count the 9 of Wands as a Virgo, because it's a 9. And then we have the Hermit, Virgo. And then we have the 8 of coins, Virgo. So we've got triple Virgo. Virgo's your 9th house. We got 2 9s showing up here. So here's the thing. I think you are working very hard, as per usual, maybe on 9th house stuff. I was not really breaking this reading out by houses, but it could be you're working very hard to expand your world in some way, to grow. It could be that this Mercury retrograde is bringing you back a project, an endeavor of something that only you can do, the Hermit. It might be involving writing because of the 9th house emphasis, communications in some way, an internet business you're building. I mean, there's something here that you are building. Only you can build it in whatever this is. You know, Capricorns, at least so many different projects are going on. I think you've already invested a lot of effort into it, this 9 of Wands and this Hermit. But here's the thing I think about this retrograde, which is happening in your 3rd house of your mind and rethinking. I think this retrograde is going to show you another way to focus on this situation that actually might be easier, better, and have better results for you by the time the retrograde is over with this 8 of coins. Because this is like, it was very hard, 9 of Wands. You were hanging in there and you were doing it, but maybe the results were not exactly what you wanted up to this point. And this Hermit could be, you know, that little voice inside of you, our inner wise guide that's telling you, Capricorn, you have to rethink how you're focusing and approaching this particular endeavor, whatever it might be, so that, first of all, you can finish it. And second of all, you can have good results with it. Maybe you can actually get some money from it or other tangible results that you are looking for with this 8 of coins that's showing up here. So, you know, it's the Virgo. It's the practical. It's not that you've been doing anything wrong with the 9 of Wands, but it perhaps has been a slog. Maybe you made it a little too hard on yourself. I mean, that's possible. This Mercury retrograde could have you rethinking how you approach something. Yes, there's still work, 8 of coins, but it could have better, quicker, faster results if you would just be a little mentally flexible and change your approach, change your mind, change a little, tweak a little what you're doing, and then reassess when we get out of the retrograde what you need to do next. So that is what I would say to this. Like, you've gone as far as you could go with this Hermit 9 of Wands. Now it's time to be a little more mentally flexible in how you move forward to focus and get results with this very specific thing that you have been working on. And Capricorns, I do not know if you are aware of my Saturn and Aries Build Your Own Dream PDF, which was released recently. It might help you with whatever you are trying to build in your life currently. And I'm just mentioning it because of the fact of what came out in this reading, and also because Saturn's your ruling planet. And it's good for you to know how to use its energy, especially since it's now moved into Aries. Link in the description if that interests you. All right, Aquarius, let's see what you need to know about the Mercury retrograde. Let us see. Aquarius. Ace of Swords and the 7 of Coins and the 3 of Wands. Okay. So you are probably in some sort of assessment mode. You could have already made a decision, Ace of Swords. And now you're kind of like, okay, I made that decision. And it was very personal to you because that's your energy showing up here. Now what do I do? 7 of Coins. How do I make my vision, 3 of Wands, manifest? What's really interesting, like, do I have what I need to do it? I think it's interesting is the 3 of Wands, for me, is the start of Aries season at the end of March. And, you know, that is March 20th when we get out of the retrograde and the same day the sun goes into Aries. So I think you're going to use this 3-week retrograde period to take an honest look, Ace of Swords, 7 of Coins, of where you're at and what you need to make a new idea, a new vision for your life come true. And, you may have more resources at your disposal than you think. 7 of Coins. This is really time to take stock and inventory of what you do have. And I don't mean just literal resources, but connections, friendships, your own brain power, your own energy, things you already have on hand, this type of thing to make something happen. You may find that with a little rethinking and innovative thinking, because of the Ace of Swords here, you might find things you didn't know you had to make this dream a reality. So that is what I would say to this. But I think, like I said, your mind may already be made up. It could be that it's the final decision happens because you do take stock during this retrograde, and then you're confident to move forward, when Mercury goes direct. So that's what I would say to this. And it could be something that is very much related to signing a contract, committing to something, something where you're signing your name to something, trademarks, legal matters, all of these possibilities here. Hiring a lawyer, that's also possible here. Like, do I have enough money to hire the lawyer? 7 of Coins. So it's like these types of things. So I would say do your due diligence during the retrograde to make sure that you have what you need to move forward. You may surprise yourself and realize you have things you didn't think you had. And Pisces, let's see what you need to know about the Mercury retrograde in your own sign. Let's see. Pisces. Let us see what you need to know. We have a King of Swords. We have a Pluto. We have a Death card. And we have the Magician. Alrighty. So you could be on the cusp of a great decision in your life that involves almost a point of no return, some sort of commitment. It's like once you make this decision, there kind of isn't any going back from it. I think it is quite consequential because the Magician and the Death card are showing up here. So, 2 major arcana. The King of Swords, it's going to require perhaps some objectivity, looking at facts and figures, but also there is something here. It's about deciding from a place of empowerment, the Magician. It's about deciding from a place of expanding into your power. So this is not about making a decision from lack or scarcity consciousness or something like that, but making a decision because it could be the making of you. It could take you to the next level. But there is something that probably will change forever because you are making that decision. I mean, we try not to be over dramatic here, okay? But it is the Death card, which can be the chapter is well and truly done, final, finito, over. And it's interesting too, because of course, Saturn and Neptune have just gotten out of your sign. And this Mercury retrograde, in your sign could be stirring up stuff from the past and it's the retrograde, doing a double take, doing a double check, like Pisces, did you really shift that energy yet? Did you really come to those decisions during that, long phase of Neptune in your sign, the last 3 years of Saturn in your sign? And now that they've moved on, have you wrapped up those situations? Because this energy is speaking to something brand new. And it could be something that will affect your life quite profoundly over the next year, because Magician for me is a year energy. So it could be about looking with a very clear eye, King of Swords, at what still needs to possibly shift with your own mindset and identity, because it's the retrograde in your sign, so that you open a door of empowerment. That's the thing, the Magician. That you step into a beautiful new chapter of growth and manifestation. So I'm getting the feeling here of the clear out, the unburdening, the letting go, the last final wrap ups, tying up loose ends, tying up karmic contract loose ends, these types of things, because something beautiful is waiting for you on the other side. So thank you so much for joining me today for your little insights into Mercury retrograde with a tarot flair. If you need help navigating this situation, you can always book a personal reading with me. I can take a look at your tarot, look at your astrology chart. Links are in the description. And yes, please check out my other 30-day horoscope video. I will leave a link to it in the description. It gives a fuller picture of everything that is going on with the 2 eclipses and Mercury retrograde as well. Thank you again for joining me. Leave me a comment. Let me know how you're doing with this very intense energy right now. I would love to hear. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Take care. I will see you again soon. Stella Wilde, signing out.